They told me I wasn't worth investing in. Not in anger, not even disappointment. Just a flat sentence delivered across the breakfast table like it was weather news. We can't pay for your tuition, Maya. We've decided to help Erin instead. Erin, my older sister by 2 years. Their golden girl. Same major, same dream. Architecture. The only difference was that she wore confidence like jewelry, and I wore responsibility like a scar. I remember sitting there, spoon still in my hand, the coffee steam rising between us like a thin fog. My mother didn't even look at me. My father just sighed, as if it were out of his hands, as if fairness were a luxury we couldn't afford. Erin gave me that look, the practiced sympathy that hides satisfaction. "Oh, Maya, I wish they could help both of us," she said. But I saw it in her eyes. She didn't wish that at all. So I packed my dreams in a suitcase, took out student loans, and started over, alone. While Erin posted photos from Paris, New York, and Venice, study abroad programs, networking dinners, architectural symposiums, I was serving coffee in a downtown diner, sketching structures on napkins during breaks. I worked double shifts, then stayed up nights drawing until my hands cramped. Sometimes, I'd check her Instagram, not out of envy, but to remind myself what I was fighting against. My parents commented hearts and clapping emojis under every post. They never called me once. Still, I didn't hate her. Not yet. Hate comes slow, like rot. It waits for something to feed on. That moment came 3 years later, during finals week. I'd poured every ounce of myself into my final project, a conceptual museum called the Echo of Light. It wasn't just design. It was my soul translated into steel and glass. When I arrived at the studio one morning, my stomach dropped. The model, my entire project, was destroyed. Foam panels split, sketches ripped, paint splattered like someone had stepped on my heart. Everyone in the studio went quiet when I walked in. My professor pulled me aside later that day. His words came out carefully, like he already knew I'd break. "Maya, your submission looks identical to Erin's. She submitted first. I don't know what's going on, but this could be considered plagiarism." I couldn't breathe. Erin was in the same city, interning with a local firm. She must have seen my drafts. I'd shown her some months ago when she'd visited. She'd said, "You're talented, Maya, really," and she'd stolen it. That night, I sat outside my apartment, the pieces of my model in a trash bag beside me. Rain turned the paper to mush. Something in me hardened. That was the night I stopped waiting for justice. I decided to build it myself. Revenge doesn't start with a scream. It starts with a whisper. I finished my degree quietly, transferring to a smaller college on the outskirts of Seattle. I stayed invisible, worked under the radar, and learned everything I could. Not just design, but contracts, licensing, intellectual property. Erin graduated with honors. My parents posted pictures with champagne glasses and hashtags. Hashtag proud parents, our architect. I didn't attend. 2 years later, I got a small job at an up-and-coming design consultancy. Not glamorous, but stable. My boss liked my clean, minimalist approach. He said my work had an ache in it. He wasn't wrong. I saved every penny. And one day I did something Erin would never imagine. I created an alias. Under the name Lila Rowan, I started freelancing online, consulting for architectural firms, drafting designs, reviewing submissions. It was a side gig at first, until one client came through that made me stop breathing. Harper and Dale Architecture, Erin's firm. They needed a consultant for a large cultural complex project. Someone to handle the structural and conceptual phase remotely. I sent my portfolio as Lila Rowan. Erin herself approved it. She didn't recognize my style, or maybe she thought she'd erased me so completely that nothing I did could touch her world again. Over the next 6 months, I built her dream, line by line, design by design. feeding her firm the brilliance she'd once stolen, and she signed her name on every blueprint. I embedded metadata, timestamps, authorship codes, private logs, my fingerprints in every digital inch of that structure. Then I waited. The day the project went public, the Cascade Museum of Culture made headlines. Harper and Dale's visionary design wins state contract. There she was, in every photo, Erin Harper, all-white suit and perfect smile, shaking hands with city office. My parents threw a party at their lake house, the same one I used to mow the lawn at while Erin lounged by the pool. They didn't invite me, of course, but they didn't have to. A week later, I filed a copyright and licensing claim with the State Architecture Board, attaching every bit of proof I'd collected. Emails, drafts, metadata trails. It didn't take long. The headlines flipped overnight. Harper and Dale under investigation for fraudulent submission. Lead architect accused of stealing design. Investors froze their contracts. The firm bled reputation like an open wound. Erin's license was suspended pending review. My mother called me 3 days later, her voice trembling like she already knew the truth. "Maya, have you heard what happened to Erin? She's devastated." I said quietly, "I heard." Then she asked the question she didn't want the answer to. "You wouldn't know anything about it, would you?" I smiled into the silence. "I told you once," I said. "I build my own future." A month later, my small consultancy, Rowan Designs, was invited to the National Design Awards for the Cascade Museum. The irony? My name was on the plaque. Not Leela Rowan, Maya Hartman. I walked into that ballroom in a black suit and heels that echoed against the marble floor. The kind of echo that gets attention. Cameras flashed. My hands didn't shake. I saw her before she saw me. Erin, standing near the back with my parents. Her face pale, eyes rimmed red. She looked like a ghost haunting her own life. When they announced my name, the crowd applauded, and I stepped onto the stage. For a second, I looked right at her. "This award," I began, "is for the people who said I wasn't worth investing in. You taught me how to build on my own, and for that, I'm grateful." Applause filled the room. Erin's eyes never left mine. There was no anger there anymore, just realization, the kind that cuts deeper than rage. After the ceremony, I stood outside, under the cool city lights. The skyline shimmered like glass and steel, breathing together. I thought I'd feel empty, like revenge had taken too much of me. But instead, I felt balanced. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it hums quietly through blueprints and signatures, through the click of a mouse and the quiet patience of someone who refuses to stay buried. As I looked at the museum's outline glowing in the distance, my museum, I thought about the irony of it all. Erin had built her success on my stolen design once. Now, I built mine on the ruins of hers. And that's the beauty of architecture. It teaches you that destruction and creation often share the same foundation. 6 months later, a letter arrived at my office, handwritten, no return address. It was from Erin. "Maya, you were always better than me. I just wanted to be you for a while. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but if it means anything, I'm proud of what you built. Erin." I folded the letter carefully, placed it in my desk drawer, and locked it away. Some things don't need to be answered, because revenge, I've learned, isn't about destroying someone else's world. It's about rebuilding your own until theirs no longer matters. They said I didn't deserve a future, but I built one anyway. Not out of anger, not even out of revenge, but out of silence, patience, and the unshakable belief that one day, the world would see whose hands drew the real lines. And when they did, I didn't need to shout. My work spoke for itself.